Hi, my name is Insan Aulia, and in this video I'm going to deliver my short story entitled The Worst Birthday Gift Ever. Um, I made this story a bit shorter than the original one. You can read the original one on the description. The worst birthday gift ever. It was my birthday. Coincides with the last students' orientation days at my new college, Win Antasari Banjarmasin. Also, it was the day before Eid al-Adha, meaning that I was supposed to go home gathering with my family in Tanjung. Therefore, I planned to head back as soon as possible when my orientation activity had been done at that day on 4 p.m. However, the event lasted very long and finished at 6:30 p.m. Nonetheless, I insisted to go home no matter what, so I hasted back my rented house to prepare everything I need to bring. Then the horrible night just started. When I looked at my rented house door, my phone was ringing. It was my friend asking me to pick her up at her rented house as she wanted to head back to Tanjung as well. On my motorcycle, I could hear like someone calling me, but I ignored it since I was in rush. I arrived at my friend's rented house located not so far from mine. She asked me to eat there. I refused the offer since it was already 7 and there was no time for that. My friend was okay with my saying and asked me to grab some cookies and a cup of coffee while waiting her preparing her stuffs. After everything was done, we got out of the car. We got out after sorry everything after everything was done. We got out the house and locked the door and ready to go. Riding on the way home, she talked a lot to make me feel not alone. I was happy with that. I thought if I was alone, I would be felt it would be feel it will be felt a bit boring. We were talking about the tiring day that we had at that day. Participating on the boring campus orientation activities for 3 days in a row, of course, made us feel tortured. But when we talked about our hometown, it filled us with energy. Also, I told my friend that it was my birthday, so I wanted to celebrate my birthday at my home with my family. No matter what, I must be home tonight, I said. Time went by, several times I yawned. Even I had drunk a cup of coffee, it didn't affect much. I was still sleepy. Besides, I felt something bad with my stomach. So I told my friend, and she asked me to stop riding and look for some food. Subsequently, I stopped at a restaurant in Martapura. It was 8 p.m. In front of the restaurant, we saw an old man selling crackers using his old bike. He looks exhausted, so my friend asked me to help him by buying some of his crackers. We bought some crackers and continued entering the restaurant for having a dinner. We had eaten at the restaurant for 20 minutes before continuing the journey. We were riding again. Then the day suddenly turned into raining. That was really unpredicted. We were riding on a rainy night. What a nightmare! What could be worse than riding on a wet road in a dark night? I yelled. About 5 minutes riding, the rain had stopped. Even so, the road was still wet as a result of the rain. Sparkling dust on the road adorned my views at that night, although my eyes aren't that good since I got a small problem with my eyes. We had been riding on the wet road under the moonlight for about 30 minutes. It was about 9 p.m. when we were in Danau, still far from our destination. There were stacks of cars there that required me to race them so that we could arrive home on time, my thought. While I was racing a car, I didn't see that it was a small bridge in front of us with a bump on the road. I broke the brakes till my wheels sounded loudly. At the same time, another car appeared out of nowhere and hit us hardly. We bounced quite far, and suddenly I heard nothing. I heard nothing. Seemed like I was devoured by the darkness. In my black sight, I could see people were stupidly asking me a bunch of questions that I even couldn't hear them clearly. I lost my sight for a minute. Then suddenly I awoke and looked for my friend. I was limping. I woke limping, heading to the crowded. I was I saw blood everywhere. I found her crying. I called her name. She recognized me. When she turned it around, all I could see just blood covering her face. She looked horrible. I asked people to give us water. An old man came, asked me to wait. While I was sitting on the side of the road, leaning back on the small bridge, I called my sister and told her that I had an accident. She asked my brother, who lived in Banjarbaru, to look after me. Then the old man came after me with a bottle of water and a black car to take us to the nearest hospital. In the car, I held my friend's hand. She was shaking. I knew her feeling, but anything happened couldn't be changed. A lady who owned the car said, "Everything is gonna be alright." I hope so. We arrived in the hospital less than 5 minutes. I was waiting for my brother, quiet in the silence, laying down on an emergency bed. I regretted everything. I hoped that I wasn't coming home in the night. My eyes were weary. I closed my eyes. Subsequently, a white car arrived. Someone got off of the car. It was my old brother. I got up and explained everything. At the same time, my friend's family was coming too. My brother came over to them. I could see my brother was talking with them. I was just regretting everything happened on that night. Finally, I was lifted by my brother to his car since I cannot move my right leg. Then we were heading back to Banjarbaru. At the end, I didn't go home, just stayed at my brother's home. Not only a day, but for almost a month, since I couldn't walk properly at that time. I regretted and thought what happened was a worst gift given by God on my birthday. Even so, I realized that I'm still alive. I am given a chance to pass through the accident, to breathe after the accident, even with a broken leg. Isn't that a miracle? I believed that there must be something good would happen next, so that was okay having that experience in the beginning of my college life. I got a miracle though. The end. Thank you for watching.